look the person in the eye who's interviewing you. Try to be natural and try to answer their questions concisely because they're busy people, and keep to the point.
I think the most important thing to remember is to pause and think about how you want to answer. It's not a better answer if you jump right into it. It's a better answer if it's more thought through and if you can make it more personal.
Well, in a humorous sense, but very serious, you want to remember the question. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I've had mock interviews where students just forget the question, which is not a good thing. But most critically, you want to have a sense of confidence, understanding how your experience and background relate to the role in the organization where you're applying. So if you genuinely believe that you can do the work, the employer or graduate school program will be much more likely to believe it. If you are not sure, that uncertainty or lack of confidence will come across.
I think in an interview, one needs to be careful about saying they couldn't work with someone or wouldn't do something. An employer needs somebody who's going to be willing to step up and do whatever needs to be done and work with whoever, regardless of whether they're difficult to work with or not. And in the classroom, whatever students are placed there, whatever parents they may have, whatever team members, it's really important that an interviewee doesn't give the impression that they wouldn't or couldn't with anyone.
What you want to do with interviewing is keep the tone positive. Don't talk about a negative experience you had with a past employer. Don't talk about a roommate conflict that's eating you up. Don't talk about negative issues. Keep the tone and the content positive. Focus on what you can offer. Focus on the positive, and your interview will go much further.
Look for some good experience, especially in retail or working with people, customer service. I guess I also look for flexibility and scheduling. Those are probably the big two key areas I look at.
The key thing that you really want to be focusing on is developing good experiences, relevant experiences to what you want to do.
However, when I think about surprising, one of the interviews I showed up for when I was at Hope Yet and I was applying for a job, I showed up and I felt like I was going to they just said, yep, you'll be interviewing with the principal and things like that. I came in and they brought me to a room, gave me paper and pencil, and I had to write an essay on the spot and hand it in before I went into the interview room. So I was surprised, especially since I'm a bad speller. I was like, oh my, what am I going to do? I want to use good vocabulary but spell well. So that was one.
One kind of a surprise on an application was somebody that said something about, the question is asked, have you ever committed a felony or a crime? And it was, no, but I would like to explain. So that kind of surprised me. But, yeah, convicted of a felony. It kind of surprised me, but I appreciated their honesty.
I'd say a positive attitude, someone who's very genuine. So when you're smiling, a lot of people will smile during an interview, but there's, needs to have that genuine feel to it, that they really are pleased to have this opportunity to be interviewing and are excited about the position.
I think if they really understand what we're like as a business and really understand what we do, it's not just signing up to be a cashier. We're a very sales-focused but service-focused atmosphere too in the store. And so when they have a business understanding and really know what we're trying to accomplish, which would probably take a little research on their part ahead of the interview, that would totally stand out to me.
You'd be surprised at how rigorous, and I don't know, you've gone through it now a little bit, but you'd be surprised at a lot of places, like a retail place like a Target or Walmart or somebody like that. You'd be surprised how many interviews you might have to get into a place like that. A lot of people new to the workforce think that it's just going to be one interview and then I'm in. We get that at the dining service where folks are coming from the restaurant side of things and they're used to being hired on the spot, and the next thing, you know, they come in with an application in the morning, next thing you know, they're cooking that evening. That doesn't happen with us. And we get, some folks are a little bit taken aback that, you know, it's like, okay, you know, this has been good, I'd like you to come in for another interview. And depending on the position, we might have 3 to 4 gateways that the folks would have to go through. So I think that kind of surprises people.
That this is not rocket science. This can be prepared for and practiced by anyone. And that the key is to take the initiative to prepare, and then we conduct literally hundreds of practice interviews with students every year for internships, for graduate school, for full-time work. So it is not that difficult, and the key is really to take the initiative to seek out these preparatory and practicing experiences so that when you go into an interview, you can feel confident and comfortable, and you can leave there with a sense that you've done your best.
Like I said before, just, you know, search it out, do some research, and that's probably not even new advice, you know, but just really know what you're going in for. Be prepared.
Good luck.